Broadcasting live from SETI Alpha 6 in the Andromeda Galaxy, this is Mr. C.
Well, happy 1th of the month to you, even though it isn't 1th of the month. But I'm taping this on Sunday when it is the 1th of the month, so you'll be getting this on Monday. Hey, if you'll get that white sheet out, I've got, and number to 10 while I'm chatting with you, I've got 10 genetics questions for you. And then if you will get out your journals too, we're going to use those. If you want to find your SRP section on lake levels, I've got some additional data for you. So anyway, if you will do all that, that will be great. First off, though, I want to give you the answers to test number 6. Test number 6. So here it is. This was from the 23rd of October. And I was thinking I probably should go over these like the following Monday, like a week and a couple of days after you've taken the test. And then most people will have finished makeups. If you haven't made this test up, you need to chat with Mr. Gilbert about making a time to do it. Okay, John 1 through 3, all things were made by him, and without him nothing was made that has been made. Major meaning, Jesus made everything. And then Genesis 1 tells us how Jesus made everything. How did he make everything? Well, you can use Nick, N-I-C, nothing, instantly, instantaneously, commanded into existence, or you could do thought it, said it, got it. Either one of those would have been fine. These are already up in the grade book. So 6 and 7 now. What did God, or why did God create green plants? A lot of reasons, but a couple of main ones. Food for us and for animals. Oxygen. They are a major oxygen producer. And beauty. And there are other reasons besides. I'll entertain another answer if you have it. 2 causes for the changes in the season: Earth's tilt and Earth's revolution around the sun. And then 2 things migratory animals have to know so they can migrate from one place to another: when to go and where to go. And an example, there were a bunch of them, but my favorite that I shared with you was the bar-tailed, which Alex used. The bar-tailed godwit is a bird that migrates from Alaska to New Zealand 9 days non-stop. Unbelievable. 7,000 miles. In fact, almost all over open water. How do they navigate? We don't know. But God does. What do we conclude about animals being able to migrate like that? That they were programmed, they were designed by God. All right, where do the other leaf colors, browns, oranges, reds, and yellows, come from besides the green of chlorophyll? Explain with a science answer, not just Jesus did it. So in the past, a number of my students like to go with, well, Jesus did it that way. I know, but I usually go, yeah, nice try. So here's the way it works. There are a number of variables, but here's what happens. It gets cooler, and the petioles get pinched, and photosynthesis can no longer occur. Water can't get out into the leaf. They stop making stop doing photosynthesis and making glucose. And what happens? The chlorophyll breaks down, and underneath, as the chlorophyll breaks down, the secondary colors have been there all along for us to see and enjoy and give God glory. And why did Jesus want us to see all of these? Beauty, his glory. Anyway, Just an aside, I think my favorite, some of you may have gotten up to northern Arizona, either eastern Arizona or the Flagstaff area to see aspens. I love the gold color that they turn after photosynthesis stops. What are the 3 ingredients, aka raw materials, that make photosynthesis possible? Light energy, of course, carbon dioxide, and water. And what are the 2 products that are made? Glucose, kind of sugar, right? And oxygen. Write the complete photosynthesis equation, ingredients on the left and products on the right. Light energy plus 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O yields C6H12O6, which is glucose, plus 6 O2, the oxygen that we appreciate green plants producing. The 2 ingredients of cellular respiration: glucose, C6H12O6 plus 6 oxygen molecules, and then the 3 products. They produce energy, 6 CO2s and 6 H2Os. 26, photosynthesis and the cellular respiration, if I could talk, can be thought of as opposite processes. 27, nearly all living things obtain energy either directly or indirectly from the sun. All living things continuously carry out cellular respiration in order to have a constant supply of energy available. 29, glucose is a kind of ose. It ends in ose. Would be a sugar. And fructose, fruit sugar, lactose, milk sugar, many others. We get energy to allow CR to happen in our cells, or even more specifically in the mighty mitochondria. First side, that's 30. 10 left to go. If you recall, that was the matching. Whoop, there it is. And here are your answers. Where photosynthesis takes place in green plants? In the chloroplasts. Where all food energy comes from ultimately? The sun, almost all energy. So you can trace really all the meals that you had on Sunday. If you think back, you can run them back to the sun. Where CR takes place in a cell, the mitochondria. 34, an organism that can make its own food would be, the prefix is auto for self, so autotroph. An organism that can't make its own food, animals and humans, and you needed an example, heterotrophs. 36, where all of the chemicals on both sides must be the same. We're talking balanced equations. 37, maybe the easiest one on this test, the process whereby green plants make their own energy using sunlight. Photosynthesis, of course, photolight synthesis to make. The green pigment in plants, chlorophyll. Another name for organisms that make their own energy, producers. And 40, the extremely tiny particles that make up chemical elements and compounds, ATOMS, atoms. A perfect paper there. So anyway, pretty cool. So hey, I wanted to tell you about these lesson summaries and just why they're so important. You'll want to hang on to these babies, right? So here's the reason. I am building most of my quizzes and tests from these. So when Mr. Gilbert hands these out to you, hang on to them, take notes on them. Hey, Mr. C, if I don't use my journal and I put my notes on here, is that acceptable? Sure, of course. Of course. But I may call, in fact, I will call when I'm doing a journal check. I will call for you to put your lesson summaries in your journal so I can get a look at those as well. So I'm building my tests on these. So these are a study guide of sorts, might as well be. And if you want to keep everything sort of a one-stop shop, put all your notes right on here. I'm good with that. So I'm really good with that. Okay, you've numbered to 10 on your white sheet. 10 questions for you really quick. Here they are. So I'm going to go really fast. Here's the deal on this. If you get a 10 out of 10, you can turn it in for a 10 out of 10. Or if you get a 9 out of 9, it's an A minus, 90%, right? So you could turn it in. Even if you get an 8 out of 10 and 80% and you want to turn it in, you may. Now before I do that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Gilbert just for a minute, and he can answer any questions you might have, clarify a little bit for you, and then I'll pick up right where I left off here on my 10 questions. Coming right back. See you momentarily. And I'm back. All right, here are your first 3 questions on your white sheet. Everybody participating? Mr. Gilbert's encouraging that right now. Everybody participating. So the 3 reasons cell division occurs. GRR. So down they go. 1, 2, 3. 3 reasons cells divide. Number 4, the stages. The emphasis is on stages. The stages of cell division. You know, like metaphase, anaphase, telophase, those guys. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you glad you don't have to memorize those so you can forget them in 1 week? Anyway, what do we call just the label for the stages of cell division? Oh, I'm only going to do it once. Many of you had your heads down. You might have missed it. Sorry about that. That's number 4, stages of cell division. Number 5, where an exact copy of DNA is made during one of the steps of cell division. What do we call that? Exact copy of DNA is made. So complex. Number 5. Exact copy of DNA made. Number 6, the identical sets of chain-like bodies in our first cell. We've got 46 of them. And they make us become the organism that we become and give us our characteristics. We have 46 of these chain-like bodies, 23 from mom and 23 from dad. 23 in a sperm, 23 in an egg cell. 46 in the zygote. But I want to know what the chain-like bodies are. That was number 6. Number 7, what is the stage called of cell division where the nucleus is copied, an identical copy of the nucleus? What is that? That would be number 7. Number 8, the scientific study of heredity. Scientific study of heredity, number 8. Number 9, any characteristic that you inherit. They are individual. Don't say it out loud. Any characteristic you inherit, number 9. And number 10, for lack of a better informal term, a chunk of DNA that controls a characteristic. What do we call it? A chunk of DNA that controls a characteristic. They're found on those chain-like bodies. Okay, I'm going to give Mr. Gilbert a chance to hands up if any of you need a repeat. He'll be all over that. So I'll let him do that now. Okay, here are your answers. Now, you don't need a red pen. I'm trusting you to be honest. In fact, initial right now by your name. You've got your name, date, period in the upper right-hand corner. I'm assuming many of you are going to want to turn this in for a score. I hope so. So put your initials up there. Your promise to me and the Lord that you will grade this honestly, even though you're using the same pen or pencil that you wrote it with. Hey, you don't have to turn it in if you didn't get an 8, 9, or 10. You don't want to. All right, the 3 reasons cells divide. G for growth, R for repair, healing, and then R for reproduce. So growth, repair, reproduction. Number 4, what do we call the general name for the stages of cell division? Some of you missed my little hand motion. Cell cycle. The cell cycle. For circle, because it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. Number 5, where an exact copy of DNA is made, what stage are we talking? That would be replication. Number 6, identical sets of chain-like bodies pair up in your zygote or azygote. So what are those chain-like bodies called? Chromosomes. I think it means colored bodies, because probably people who looked at it at first thought, hey, they look like they are kind of colored, darkened or whatever. Number 7, nucleus is copied. What stage? Mitosis, where the nucleus is copied. My little assist, mental assist, memory assist to help you was MN. Mitosis, and then the nuclei are copied. MNN. Number 8, the scientific study of heredity. That would be genetics. Name for gene, of course. Number 9, any characteristic you inherit. We call those traits. And then number 10, a chunk of DNA, and there are hundreds of different chunks or patterns of DNA on each chromosome. And I gave you the answer, DNA. So, and it's those chunks of DNA that control all of our traits that we end up having. I think I've read recently humans have about, I think it's 25,000 different genes. That's probably not quite right. We haven't probably discovered all of them, but that is the thought. Boy, I better hustle. I have just enough time for these next 2 things and then tell you about your homework. So, Mr. Gilbert spent some time talking about drought, and just that we've been in a drought on and off for probably a decade, California as well, and he talked about his own neck of the woods, the Fresno, California area, I think. So anyway, in your journal, SRP, the SRP lake levels, if you'll find that really quick, SRP lake levels, turn there quickly. I want to update you on Roosevelt Lakes total, percent full, and then all the lakes. In fact, I'm going to go from May 1 to November 1. May 1 to November 1, so get ready to write. So 2 data bits for each month. So May 1st, June 1st, July 1st, August 1st, September 1st, October 1st, and November 1st. All right, here we go. This is May 1. And hopefully you've already got 2 columns. I think you've already got maybe May, June, July, and August data, but I'm going to review it just really quick. So at the top you might have RL for Roosevelt Lake, that column, and then AL for all the lakes, or you could have AR, all the reservoirs. So here's May 1. Roosevelt, 99% full. It was as full as we got, and we were rejoicing back on May 1st. So thank you, Lord. And then all the lakes, 98%. So May 1, Roosevelt 99, all the lakes 98. And then June 1, down 1, Roosevelt 98, 98%, Roosevelt Lake, 98% full. All the lakes 97, that was June 1. All right, down to July 1, 95 for Roosevelt, 93 for all the lakes. 95, 93, July 1. August 1, 93 and 89. Using that water, and it's the hottest time of the year. And it was a hot one this year. Extra hot, I think the hottest. 93, 89 again for August 1st. September 1st, 88, 85. 88, Roosevelt, 85, all the lakes. October 1, a month ago from today. 84, Roosevelt, and 82, all the lakes. Roosevelt, 84 on October 1st, and 82, all the lakes. Going in your journal, right? Logging in your journal under the SRP lake levels. And then November 1st, today, 83 for Roosevelt, 83%, and then 81 for all the lakes, 83, 81. So we are down, you can do the math, Mr. C, 16%, down 16% from May 1. 6 months, so down 16%. So you could extrapolate and kind of guess what you think we would be back again on May 1. So we shall see. We'll track that, or at least May 1 anyway. Okay, so you've got all that in there. On your white sheet now, here's what I'd like you to do. I've got some precip numbers for you from January through December. And you're going to see this up on the screen. So January through December, and I want you to think about which month do you think do we get the most precipitation? Rain down here in Phoenix. So in the margin, you're putting January, February, March, all the way through December. How many months would that be? That would be 12 months. January through December. Okay, on your white sheet, I'd like you to guess. It's worth a homework pass, who's ever the closest. I'd like you get one hypothesis. What month and how much precip comes down on average in our wettest month. So what is our wettest month? So make a guess on the month. Now I'm going to give you a hint. It's not our monsoon season. Our monsoon season is over-dramatized. We talked about that. It's not really a monsoon, but we get a little bit more moisture coming in from the south, from the Gulf of Mexico. So wettest month and how much? Quickly get it down. And then driest month of those 12. What's the driest and how much precip comes down that month? Do it to the nearest hundredth of an inch. Nearest hundredth. So wettest on your white sheet. Who's ever closest? Mr. Gilbert will sort that out. Homework pass for you. So he'll take your paper, your white sheet, write HP on it, and stick it in your shelf, proper shelf. And driest. All right, pens, pencils down. Mr. Gilbert's checking on that. All right, the wettest on average is March. 1 7/7, 1.07 inches of rain. Now we live on a desert. All deserts are dry, so it's not like we're gonna, get a lot of rain. Now there are some years where we get several inches in a month, but that's unusual. Okay, what do you think's the driest? Driest month? What do you think? So here it is. It's June. How much precip on average? 0.09 inches. Pretty dry month. So I always am still excited about June, even though it starts to heat up during the daytime because it's dry. We get the heat whooshing into space because there isn't a lot of moisture to hang on to it in the air. So anyway, you've got the precip numbers up there now. I wanted you to see those. So your precip numbers are up, and you can get a look at those. Verifying, documenting what I said. Okay, now I want to tell you about your homework, and then tomorrow we'll come back to checking out a number of traits that we either have or don't, but you need to get a little bit of background data first. So Mr. Gilbert is going to hand this out to you, and it's a 79F, worksheet 79F. What is heredity? Write down the page numbers at the top there, will you? So you're going to need to read and highlight 74 through 78, and then we'll grade this first thing tomorrow. So you're going to work in your textbooks. You'll have 7 to 8 minutes. And then half of you, or not quite half, Mr. Gilbert will work it out. Which group can head back to the microscopes and have a look at microscope 1 through 8 and make your drawings in your journal. So, oh, don't forget on the worksheet, don't forget, put the page number beside the number. What if we don't put the page number beside it? Yeah, I'll dock you a point or two. I want you to verify where you found it, not just guess. You wouldn't do that, would you? So anyway, that's that worksheet. And I wanted to quickly tell you about your freebies. Now, I put every assignment in the grade book that you had turned in through a week ago Saturday. They're all in. So I pick up papers on Saturday, and then starting the following Monday, I start to work on them and put them in through Friday. So anyway, some students didn't turn in some assignments. So here's the way the freebie works. I'm automatically going to burn it up if you don't turn work in. So if you haven't turned in a daily assignment, it gets burned up on that particular assignment. You mean we don't get to choose? That's right. That's my choice. So it's a headache if you don't turn them in, and I don't know when it's coming in. So anyway, I'm just going to use your one freebie. I'm going to burn it up, and you're done on your freebie. So anyway, get this done, have it ready to go for tomorrow. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Gilbert. He'll get you guys going in your textbooks, and then some of you will head back to the microscope. So thank you, Mr. Gilbert.